Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Ah, itchy head. There we go. So, welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for those who watch the replay. Look at that. It's another day in paradise. And as I look at, see, this is when I don't look at myself in the mirror. And then I look at myself on camera and then I'm like, oh my God, how did I get mascara up there? You just don't know what was going on. Anyways, thank you. Hey, Lexi. Oh, thank you for being here and watching me fix my makeup. So, wow, what a day. Like, I don't know about you, but it was a very difficult sleeping weekend or just difficult sleeping. I couldn't get to bed. Went to bed fairly late. Like for me, it was close to midnight. And then I was up at about 3:15, 3:20, and I just woke up and I went, "Oh, the solar flares." That's what the first thing hit my head was like, "Oh my gosh, the solar flares." And I was awake. I was, when you get up and it's like, well, sometimes you get up to go pee and you're just hoping that you don't bump into the wall. This was like, no, I was up. I was like, "Okay, what are we going to do now?" I actually made myself a cup of coffee at 3:30 in the morning. And, sat down and, watched some of my crazy YouTube stuff. Um, and one couple that I do watch, it's called Those Happy Days. They're in India right now. So, and they drive around in their little tuk-tuk called Pete. So, I was watching that this morning and their adventures through India, which is quite uh, adventurous. I would say very adventurous. I mean, they're a lovely young couple, and they do van life in the UK and stuff. So this was quite it's fun to watch. Anyways, being up at 3:30, and I think I went back to sleep. I thought, holy shit! And I was watching another spiritual show called Om something time Om. Anyways, watching something there, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, I best I go to sleep, go get a couple more hours of sleep and then see." And then um I woke up with my husband delivering me coffee on the day bed at around 7:30 this morning. So I feel rested, you know. Uh I'm up and about, so I'm going. I'm going on coffee, so that's a lovely thing. But it was a lot of, it's like a lot of downloads and information coming through on, especially on 2024. 'Cause, one thing is, like, I've been thinking about it a lot and looking at a lot of the dynamics and the energies of that are coming through, and the thing is I keep seeing musical notes. Now, I am not musically inclined, I don't read like, I can sort of read music, but I'm not trained musically, right? So, I'm not one to like, "Oh, I can write write a little jingle or something like that." Um, because I haven't played the guitar in years, sort of thing. So, anyways, I keep seeing musical notes or octaves, and seeing the bars and then the four parts of the bar and stuff, like the 4/4 and the 3/4. And if you read music, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyways, I keep seeing that, and the show I was watching, just happened to put it on, and she was talking about that, how some people can that there's this one guy, and I didn't get his name, but he could take your natal chart and put it to music. And I went, "Oh," because I've listened to different healers and where they will play music for Saturn or the Saturn, like you can Google this or YouTube it, and you can find the um like the musical the music of Saturn and the music of Jupiter and the music of the Earth. Like the Earth has a tone, has a vibration, you can say, and having that vibration and having that tone, right? And each of them, like, it's like, and because as you look at the solar system, it is, I mean, everything is within this sequence of how it moves, how it functions, how it pulls, how it, with each of the which which each of the angles. So if you got a square, that's like do 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 do, like it's like boom, it's like this deep, um sound, like a, if anybody ever listened to like a pipe organs, and they have the different tones and stuff because of the bellowing of the air going through the pipes, and then you go and you want to have that deep sort of like boom kind of, and it really resonates. So square is like a deep resonating energy that really gets you to like take notice, get up, and to where squares could be like something, trines could be something that is very, a little bit, softer, like kind of thing, to a quincunx is something that is elusive and out there and dreamy, and you're not too sure but you see it. So anyways, I was, sort of getting confirmation that what I am seeing, especially with the notes, and as we are moving into different levels, and there are different levels when you are playing music, right? So there's a difference when you're doing, say, Mary Had a Little Lamb, to doing a Beethoven Sixth Symphony, right? There's a whole different type of music and complexity to it. And we are now moving, like 2024 is like, we were like Mary Had a Little Lamb to like moving into a symphony. We're moving into this newness, and as we move into this new symphony of residents, it takes a bit to get used to. Now, if you have never been to, say, an opera, or if you've never been to a symphony, and went to a Beethoven symphony or Mozart symphony or Chopin, if you've never been to that, if you first went to it, it might make you feel uneasy because your ears aren't used to listening or hearing that. And it sort of throws you off. It's like, oh my God, this is so boring. I just want to hear my headbanger music, or I want to just hear my rap music. But if we sit back and we start to take apart, and even with the Beatles or any of the musicians, the real musicians today, they have taken parts of different symphonies and made it, pleasable to the palate for people. But when you get into the authenticity of a symphony, and that's what we're getting into. We're getting into this authenticity of a symphony of music that is going to be playing, that we are walking into for 2024. It is one where, when you hear, like I called it the Kraken, when you hear if you've ever watched Pirates of the Caribbean and the Kraken comes up, it's like it's the ship is like, as it comes up, because it's that eeriness of sound that's coming up. And it's sort of an eeriness of sound, of transformation and timelines and everything coming together, and it gives this ominous type of way of looking at the world, and in doing so, we are creating new ideas, new values, 2024 is really where, it is a spiritual year. It is a year that is going to be very trying for very many people, because as they, was when they call the old paradigm, or the old way of thinking, the old way of doing things, is literally falling apart. It's literally leaving. And this newness, this new wave of, like, even with when you if you listen to color has a sound. Different colors have a sound, right? If you've ever seen the Northern Lights and been up with the Northern Lights sing. There's this sound that the Northern Lights make as it is dancing through the sky. There is, everything has a sound, a note, playing through. And this is where for 2024 is that we are beginning to be more in residence of these sounds and of these vibrations and bringing forth these vibrations. Now, the other thing is that I sort of got confirmation is that I love red. Red's a color that I do love. But I also, as you look around my house, everything's red. But I also love blues and teals. And blue and teal is um a color of coming forth, and it is, when you get blues and greens and that, you're coming into the healing, you're coming into the heart, especially the greens, and then you could go from the greens into the pinks and that and up to the reds, right? um this is where when you get forth into the blue colors and the different facets of blue, right? So you can get the blue greens, you can get the turquoise, you can get, the cobalt and all of these different blues. And this blue energy, this blue, and then the blue, where if they see, speak to the Palladians and that are like a blue image or blue people. If you go and you look at the Hindi religion, what color are the people? They're blue. What color are their god? Not the people, the gods. Sorry, the gods. They're blue, right? And you start to sort of, I don't know. I just sort of like because I keep on seeing. I can't Shiva, and the blue, and um, there is that connection of the blue with the healing of the higher realms. Now you have many different goddesses that bring in the blue as well. Mother Mary is really a prime one that bring in the blue. That blue part of that's coming forth is going to be very prevalent in 2024 and working with the blue energies. And part of the blue energies are also working with the different deities and the different gods. And the different deities and the different gods and the spirituality. I mean, we are really dealing with information that is really going to be coming in from out there. I'm giving you part of my peek into 2024. So a lot of the energy of out there coming in. So information from the and I got like, because we're coming up to the galactic center. So the galactic center as well. And the other thing too is back in, is it 1999 or, well, I know in around 1999, 2000, there was a blue streak that went through the Milky Way. It wasn't really talked about until just recently, about this blue streak that was coming in, sort of like a laser streak coming out, like almost coming out of the Milky Way. And astronomers didn't know what it was, and they it was like this blue, and the way I guess the protons and it hit the earth. And so if you look back at 2000 and into 2012, I mean, there's such a change of energies that were coming in. And now we're, from 2012, where a lot of the newness and new ideas and new world was starting to come in because it's the end of the Mayan calendar, is that now we are heading into another octic, another level of renewal, of newness, of what 2024 is going to bring us. And this is really a work of working with our shadow, working with our own inner selves and trusting in our heart chakra, trusting in listening, and in doing so is the end of, like, it's like a death of the ego, which I don't like that term too much, because I mean, we still need our ego, but a part of this, of belief systems and values, ending. So for instance, if you, like, I hardly ever watch Netflix, like, very, unless Mateus is over and we're watching, one of his shows and stuff like that. Some shows I'll turn on and I'm just like so bored from the time they open their freaking mouth. Like, I'm just like, are you serious? Um, it's where, you know, Steve likes to watch, like, the Hallmark Christmas shows, and I can't stand them. It's just like, "Oh my god, are they talking?" Like, it's just there's just something, it's just, like, put there just to distract you, kinda thing, right? Um, in Blue Mantle, yes, definitely, definitely, yeah, that's what, definitely, the Mary would do that, and Wrapping You in Blue. Uh, but it's where you are starting to reach for something more, right? Um, Same with, like, Disney is like, no, like, I we have Disney, again, it's, and even Mateus doesn't even watch it that much. But there's just, very few, like, I guess, shows and stuff that, and that's part of the vibrational change, is that because you're not drawn to the noise. You're not drawn to that noise. You're not drawn there. It's where you are becoming more drawn to a connection with the ocean, with the river, with the trees, with the birds. It's like, the other day when I was filming, it's like listening to the rambling of of a train. I find that very soothing. It's just like listening to it, and even hearing a whistle blow, or as we are walking, it's as we're walking, it's like I know it's warmer outside because I can hear the different birds, like the birds, chirping, and being more aware of those surroundings, being more aware of that, vibration, and 2024 is going to be taking us into it, and as it's taking in us into this new values and new understanding, that causes disruption, that causes where certain ideas and values that the world is trying to show you are no longer in alignment with you. Things that you were on board with are no longer vibrant for you, right? Took all kinds of stuff to read and do on vacay, but and just wanted to watch the ocean all day and commune with nature. Yeah, exactly. And and that's the other, for, I mean, it's getting out and having those connections, having that, um community, and the other part too is that you're gonna find more people are wanting to get out. This is where, this is a, especially with Pluto going into an air sign, and Jupiter is going into an air sign, so a lot of air energy. So air energy is very direct. It is very masculine. It is very forward. There's a movement. You have to move. You have to, um and especially with Pluto in Aquarius, it's very scientific. So a lot of scientific knowledge that's going to be coming through, um, to us in new ways. And doesn't necessarily, like, technology is definitely going to be a part of it, but I don't think it's going to be the whole kit and caboodle. There's going to be other, when it comes to this scientific, and I feel like it has to do with health and healing and new vibrational ways of health and healing, that when if you've ever watched how music when you play different music with plants and stuff, you see them grow, right? A lot of times people will play different, especially symphonies and Beethoven and stuff. They play they play these symphonies in the greenhouses, and the plants grow even more because there's a vibrational sound there. There's an energy that resonates and that allows for that growth to happen. Where they find if it's like headbanger music, like really heavy metal music, they don't grow as fast. It's more of a uh they're more muted. They're not it's more of a like, okay, you got to be, it's more of a containment. Um and so this is where it's like wanting to come in to allow for the expansion and the movement to come forth in our lives. But if you have not moved before, if you are not into um, allowing yourself to open, when you open that chakra, let's say if you do the cobra or even the mini cobra, and you're coming up and you haven't done that, or you haven't done it for a long time, because I'm just doing it like, I'm just like, okay, I know I haven't done my yoga in a while, but you come up and you're like this, and it's like, whoa, there's a stretch, there's an opening. So a lot of people are going to be going through some new movements, and with those new movements, it's a spiritual awakening. And these spiritual awakenings get you to really look at your values, get to look at even your job, where all of a sudden that job that you had just does not align with you anymore. And it just does not feel right. And this job could be, you could be a doctor. And I've seen this before. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to be a doctor anymore, because all I knew was I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. My identity is a doctor. People call me Dr. Joan or whatever it is. And that's my identity. And now you are no longer feeling that alignment anymore and stepping away from that. Now you got to step into your true self and into that heart area, into that soul calling, and find that, wow, this is, I need to find me. And so more and more people are going to be going through a huge awakening. And this is like even from the lockdown, where many were like, oh well, we can still trust the government, we can just all of this. And a lot of people followed suit. Well, we have to do it because they said we had to do it, or we have to have this, and if we don't have this, then we can't. And this was like, this is awakening, because all of a sudden they're just like, holy shit, we really didn't have to do all of that. Holy shit, they lied to us. So that was a little awakening. Now we're coming into an even larger awakening, even a larger an awareness. And even with Mercury being retrograde in Capricorn, it is getting us to really look at that communication as it's looking at the sun and Mars, and coming up to the galactic point, which is around 27 degrees of Sagittarius, and having or feeling that power, that resonance of multitude of layers of optics that are coming through to us to awaken us. It sounds woohoo. It sounds out there. It sounds like, whoa, well, what do you mean? I'm going to walk away from my job. I'm not going to do my job anymore. For some people, yeah. Maybe not for everybody. This is even for people with, certain relationships just don't align to them anymore, where it just does not feel within their spiritual growth. It's like they're wanting to go sit in an ashram, and they're wants to go sit in a bar, or you're the party girl and you went out every weekend, and now it's like, no, I don't go out every weekend. I want to do something different. And that's the awakening. It's like, and then you have to go out to find it. It's not like, when they say, oh, when you're ready, a teacher will appear. Well, they're not going to knock on your fucking door, you know? Uh, I'm not going around knocking on doors, but it's where it's like all of a sudden, oh, I resonate with you. I really want to work with you. I feel a connection. What are the courses you're teaching and sort of thing. You step out, you join a spiritual dance class, you join a drum group, you really become a part of a community. You don't sit around at home. You are wanting to connect. And that's the other part of the journey. That's the other part of this evolutionary change, and people are calling it the new human. And the new human is rising up to a new vibration, a new awareness. And that's why we had so many, like the indigo, the crystal, the rainbow, and all of these beautiful children coming in, because they were forming new groups. They were forming new ideas for us to really to awaken to. And there are going to be young, beautiful humans that are going to be these leaders that are going to come through, where it's not going to be necessarily the old realm where you have a president that is basically falling apart, and can't really hold a sentence. God bless him. Um, to somebody who's very vibrant and really wants to bring in the connection, but in a very honest and authentic way. Not not a Greta, not a Greta, because she isn't authentic. She might have started out that way, but she isn't authentic in who she is. I mean, she's paid off in many different ways. Um, and a lot of things that she does are staged, right? This is like there's a young boy who's going around and his goal is to clean the oceans. And he has a nonprofit um, organization where people can donate. And he's just young. He's a young guy and he's going around cleaning up the ocean. I think he's like 18, 19. And he's like asking for nothing. And he's like, well, I didn't see anybody else doing it, so I decided to do it. Going around chopping up all the, plastics in the ocean and stuff and recycling them and making different things. Those are you don't hear of that, but more of those new and innovative ideas are coming in. This is where it's like, okay, if we have to switch from fossil fuels, and make those changes, how can we do it Olivia in a way, sorry, in a way that is um vital, to our world, right? So that's that's where we're going to be finding changes. That's where we're going to be finding vibrance, right? And Olivia Tracy. Okay. So in finding those vibrance and those changes, I have to go because she's not going to stop calling, but I'll come back. All right. And I'm going to send you guys out so much love. There is such a newness that's coming into the world, and we just have to embrace it and shine our light. All right. So I'll talk to you guys all later. God bless, and the goddess bless you. Shine your light, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.